All right, we are live. Welcome to the Here's the Deal channel. What is the deal? The deal is hopefully you're a better person today than you were yesterday, and the goal is to be a better person tomorrow than you were today, and then you're going to make your life better. You're going to make the world better. So hopefully that is the deal in your life, because really, what else matters? Nothing else matters. You shouldn't care what other people think about you. You shouldn't care if other people are successful or failures or good looking or strong or weak or anything like that. What you should care about is who you are and who you've become as a person and who you affect in a positive or a negative way in your life. And hopefully you're here to affect people positively. And one of the positive things that we can do is call out negativity. I will positively call out negativity. Now, before we get to this video right here, I want to talk about something that came across my desk. Somebody sent me this email. This right here is Sheriff Grady Judd from the Polk County Sheriff's Department. Now, I've covered Sheriff Judd on a couple of my past videos, and I don't trust the guy, just like I don't trust any law enforcement agent who says he's there to protect and serve, because they lie. They engage in deceptive practices. And I want to show you one of the deceptive practices that I believe they're engaging in before we get to our feature video about how this guy right here talked to this cop, and probably deservedly so. So it says, Sav sit. Sav sit. Let's see, what's that like? Sav sit. That's an oxymoron, kind of like only option or Dodge Ram or act natural, airline food, original copy, military intelligence. There's no such thing as this right here. You're either sovereign or you're a citizen. A citizen is a subject. If you're a sovereign, you're not a subject. You're the person who's subjecting other people to your rule. So I think it's crazy and at the least disingenuous to use this kind of terminology, because it really throws people off. Because, you know, most people, I think these media outlets bank on the fact that people don't use their noodle, they don't critically think, they don't ask questions, so it's ridiculous. And when they talk about sob sits, they're talking about people who operate above the law. Well, then if you want to put that label on anybody, which I think is crazy because it is inherently an oxymoron, then you should put that label on the district attorney who thought she could get away with speeding 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, which, by the way, I don't know if you watched the last video, or the second to the last video, about that district attorney who was doing 20 miles an hour over the speed limit and got pulled over by the cops. But she was acting in such a way. Is that the wrong thing to do? Was that what she was wrong? Or is that what she was in error about? Should she have come under line and been submissive to the police officer? In my opinion, she was acting the way any man or woman should act who is not subject to the laws of political parasites. Because what is a law? It's the opinions of politicians backed by the threat of force. And who enforces those parasitic laws? The law enforcement agents. Law enforcement, opinion enforcement, policy enforcement. That's where the word police comes from. Policia, it's about policy, enforcing policy. Are you subject to the policy? So was Sandra wrong? Sandra Doorley was the name of the DA in upstate New York. Was she wrong in not submitting to the police officer? No, what she was wrong about was being a hypocrite, because she's a prosecutor of the very cases that she says she wasn't guilty of. That's what she was wrong about. Do laws in nature actually apply to you? Yes, real laws do, not opinions. The law of gravity applies to you. You can't escape it. It applies to everybody in all places at all times. The second law of thermodynamics, it applies to you. Everything tends to disorder. All those things, real laws apply to you, but to the opinions of politicians apply to you? No. How do we know? Because the opinions of the politicians in France don't apply to you. The opinions of the politicians and laws that they lay down in Germany don't apply to you. So we know that nations exercise autonomy, from other nations. So if nations can do that, then why aren't the rulers in those nations recognizing that men and women within their nation, within their borders, can also exercise those rights? Oh, the reason they don't recognize that is because they are hypocrites themselves. And when you're a hypocrite, you're you're the worst possible human being that you can possibly be. And that's why this is one of the reasons why the world's a bad place, because we got hypocrites. So you got Sandra over there, the district attorney. Her error wasn't her sin, if you want to talk in a religious framework, wasn't that she was resisting the ridiculous harassment by the police officer. The cops shouldn't have been harassing her. Did she harm someone in that instance? Yeah, her job is all about harming somebody and economically terrorizing somebody. But in that instance, did she harm somebody? Did she threaten to harm somebody? Did she put somebody in jeopardy? Did she damage property? Did she steal property and not repay for the property that she stole? No, she did not commit a crime. She just broke a policy. Policies that are constantly broken, not only by her, but also by the law enforcement agents who are trying to hold her feet to the fire of that policy. So Sandra was just acting like everybody should act, like a king or like a queen, because you are a sovereign and nobody's got a right to harass you in your life and interrupt or disturb or infringe upon your right to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness. The only way you can interrupt somebody's life is if they disturb the rights of somebody else, not because they broke a policy like the prohibition policy. Oh, you can't buy, sell, or transport alcohol. Yeah, says who? What are you talking about? I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not doing anything wrong now before prohibition went into effect, and I'm not doing anything wrong 30 seconds after it went into effect, depending on your time zone. Because you could still buy, sell, and transport transport alcohol in California while you couldn't legally in New York. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That right there shows you, that exposes the entire game right there. So when this national prohibition against alcohol went into effect, April or May, whatever it was, 1920, you couldn't do it legally in New York, but you could do it in other time zones. Now, when that time zone caught up with the New York time zone, well, then it was illegal for you to do it in California too. Oh, really? It's automatically illegal just because somebody says it's illegal, which they equate to a moral or immoral issue. And the reason we know they equate it to morality and immorality is because they believe that they are absolutely justified in laying their hands on you and handcuffing you, putting you in the paddy wagon and throwing you into a cage because their politician said you can't buy, sell, or transport or manufacture alcohol. That's the bizarre world we live in. So when you have these people who call other people sovsits, you got to really question, hey, why are they doing this? What's the psychological operation at play here? Oh, I think we know what it is. They're only lying to us and participating in active deception because they want to control us. They want to control our minds and they want us to be on their program. They don't want to be in line with our program. So what did Sandra do wrong? She's a hypocrite and she prosecutes the very thing that she was resisting prosecution for. Now anybody can step into her courtroom, and if she's the prosecuting attorney and they went 20 miles an hour or 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, they can point, hey, I invoke my right to do what Sandra did. Oh, well, Sandra didn't get away with it because she went ahead and paid her ticket. Yeah, but Sandra, if I was Sandra and I did what Sandra did, I would already be tasting the concrete and have dirt in my teeth because they would have thrown me to the ground a long time ago, Sandra, and put those cuffs on nice and tight like. And they would have treated me like a dog, but they're not going to treat Sandra like a dog. Why? Because she's part of the system that they're a part of. She is a part of the operation where they are in the big club and they are allowed and they allow themselves to do certain things. Well, you got to understand that law enforcement officer, he's staying on it. He was doing a good job. No, he wasn't. He shouldn't have been. He had no just cause to harass the DA. No just cause. So the problem that I see is that you got this WWE dog and pony show where people think there's a good guy and there's a bad guy, and both the cop and the entire police department, Monroe Police Department, and the district attorney were in the wrong, and not because of that particular incident on the part of the DA, but because they're all embroiled in this justice system for profit racket that costs us money, that economically terrorizes us, that destroys our families, that puts us into prisons because we broke their laws. She was actually acting as what they would call a sovsit. And you can rightly act like that. Now, the problem in our world is if you start acting like that, well, you're going to get penalized by the powers that shouldn't be, and they really shouldn't be. Sovsit dies in gunfight after shooting 2 Polk County deputies. Now, why would anybody pull out a gun on 2 Polk County deputies? Now, why would they do that? Could they have been walking up to this person's vehicle and harassing them when they didn't want to be harassed? Didn't they just want to be left alone and at peace? Would anybody have died if they weren't out there poking the bear, the cops that is? Deputy Craig Smith and Lieutenant Chad Anderson were shot. And listen to what this says. And I'm going to play a couple of clips about what Grady Judd said, but it says, 2 Polk County deputies are in ICU after being shot early Sunday morning by a man who Sheriff Grady Judd said was a Moorish sovsit. And you know why I'm not saying that entire word right there? I think that's just such a nonsense word. And I love it when trolls continue to call people like me a sovsit when nothing could be further from the truth. Because if you look at the definition of the actual term, as it's understood, the people who are acting like that are the people in government. The people that acted like that are the DAs, are the prosecuting attorneys, are the cops. They're the ones who act like they're above their own law. The Angry Vet just gifted 50 Here's the Deal memberships. Holy cow, Angry Vet. Thank you very much, man. Around 12:22 a.m., a deputy assigned to Hunt Fountain Park. Let me show you Hunt Fountain Park. I got that pulled up right here. Here's Hunt Fountain Park right here. Looks like it's in the middle of a kind of a nice neighborhood here. Looks like there's nice residential areas around there. So that is Hunt Fountain Park, just to give you eyes on what they're talking about. So a deputy assigned to Hunt Fountain Park due to its designation as a burglary hotspot noticed a vehicle where, despite the park's 10 p.m. closing time, so they were there at 12:22, so it's 2 hours and 22 minutes after closing time, Judge said at a news conference Saturday morning, the deputy approached the vehicle, this is going to be a female deputy now, and spoke with the male inside, asking him why he was in the park, yet the sheriff said he wouldn't cooperate. Now, what does that usually mean? He's not cooperating is he's not talking to me. He's not giving me the information that I want him to give me at this particular time. He's not following my lawful orders, which end up not really being lawful orders at all. They're just, hey, I want you to do this because I'm a power-tripping authoritarian. At this point, he's resisting a law enforcement officer in the performance of their duty. He's also violating a county ordinance. But is he committing a crime? Is he disturbing anybody? Is he being loud and obnoxious? Or is he keeping to himself? Is he just wanting to get away from people and not be disturbed and not be messed with and not be harassed? That's usually the case. It's like you start poking around on the bear and then the bear bites you back and you're like, I don't know why he bit me. I was just trying to find out what was going on. I was just trying to have a conversation with Mr. Bear. Judge said she retreats to her vehicle and she asked for additional help because he is resisting her at the time. So we got to call for backup, man. One of the most dangerous cops. It's dangerous to meet with a cop anyway. One of the most dangerous cops you want to meet with is a ponytail cop, because these females are trigger happy because they know that they are absolutely outmatched and overpowered. Most male cops are outmatched and overpowered by the people that they choose to harass, but especially a female. So good thing that she didn't pull her gun out first and then ask questions later, but she is going to call for backup. At that time, among other deputies, Lieutenant Chad Anderson arrives and Deputy Sheriff Greg Smith. Judge said there was a total of 4 deputies and 2 trainees working the scene when the shooting occurred. So they got 6 law enforcement officers out there at this park messing with a guy who, from all indications, was just minding his own business. He just happened to be there at 12:22 when the park closed at 10. Not doing anything wrong. It's just an ordinance. Chill out. But you know what they think? When they do this kind of thing, you know what they're thinking? They are basically saying with their actions, the law enforcement agents are saying by their actions, the city ordinance is more important and more valuable than human life. How many human lives have died or been extinguished because somebody violated a traffic ordinance or a traffic law or a city ordinance? That's what cops are saying. They're saying human life is so valueless and city ordinances are so valuable that we will hold city ordinances above human life. And then they start pulling triggers. Judd says, little did they realize at that moment in time that this was a sob sit. He was Moorish, and Moorish sob sits are known to believe that federal law, state law, local law does not apply to them. Well, guess who else believes that? I don't know if Moorish people believe that or not. They could. And would that be accurate? Oh, the laws of parasitic politicians actually apply to you? Like you should act, it's a good thing for you to obey them. Just follow orders, just follow in line, just do what you're told. Is that, I mean, that's what we're taught. That's how we're indoctrinated. That's how we're immersed in the 15,000 hour indoctrination program called the public fool system. But is that right to do, to expect somebody just to obey the law because me and my buddies got together and we created this thing and we signed all of our names on this piece of paper and now it applies to you? And if you don't obey, then you get to fall into the punishment that we labeled and listed on our bill, which became a law? Is that the key to a healthy functioning society? Really? Really? Because a lot of people ain't making it through that. They're known to believe that federal law, state law, and local law doesn't apply to them. So guess who that does? Guess who that description does apply to? It applies to law enforcement agents. They operate and act as if the law doesn't apply to them. They're the ones speeding down the road without their lights on and not going to an emergency. They're the ones who are engaged in, what is it that the Mullen Commission said? Active police criminality. They're the ones that hide behind qualified immunity in Terry v. Ohio and all this nonsense that's antithetical to true freedom and liberty in America. They're the ones acting like the sob sits they're talking about the Moorish people being. It's truly laughable. They are known to resist law enforcement. And guess who else is known to resist law enforcement? Other law enforcers who get pulled over by law enforcement. We see it all the time in video after video. The evidence is there. All you got to do is look for it. And there's a history where they shoot police officers, Judd said. So they started trying to take our suspect out of the vehicle when he produced a gun and started shooting. Well, if this happened the way he said it, and if the guy was just peacefully sitting there, minding his own business, not disturbing anybody, then they are the initiators of the violence, and he was acting in self-defense, in my opinion. But you know how we can know exactly what happened? Not by believing Sheriff Judd. We can know by looking at the body camera. But guess what? They didn't release the body camera. Now, at this point, you might be saying, well, does the Polk County Sheriff's Department have body cams? Let me go ahead and answer that question. This is back from April 11th, 2023, over a year ago. Listen to this.
Sheriff's Office now has body cameras to record everything deputies do on. Sheriff's Office now has body cameras to record everything deputies do on the job. We first told you about the body camera rollout yesterday. Today, we get an inside look at how they work.
This is the Polk County Sheriff's Office, which these 2 deputies, all 6 deputies, including the 2 trainees, were a part of. The Polk County Sheriff's Department has body cams and are required to wear them.
cameras connect with the car dash cameras, and they're the newest, highest technology that's on the market.
They're actually set up so if an officer has to draw his weapon, the body cam kicks on. Critical incidents, they automatically kick on. So it's otherwise there'll obviously be some times when they will be shut down as far as if they're on a personal call, private call, or in the restroom, something like that.
Or when they decide to shut them off. So we know that the Polk County Sheriff's Office does have body cams, but we've got Sheriff Judd out there trying to give us his side of the story. Well, hey, if you want us to know what the real story was, then all you have to do is release body cam. They always talk about being transparent. Oh, we're transparent. We loves us some transparency here in this department. If you really did, give us the unredacted body cam footage and dash cam. Lieutenant Anderson was shot in the arm and the bullet went into his chest. It says Lieutenant Anderson got off some rounds. The backup deputy shot a lot, and we don't know how much yet. We're in the initial stages of crime scene investigations. Tell you what, we'll help you out, Grady. We'll help you out. Just release the body cam footage and you'll have thousands of people out there looking to see what happened. We'll all conduct an investigation and we'll get back to you and we'll tell you what we found. And we can report that to you later, but we killed the suspect. Look what he says. We killed him graveyard dead, and we killed him dead in a gunfight, a firefight with our deputies who had no idea they were dealing with anyone other than someone being in a park after the park closed, being suspicious and resisting our efforts to identify why they were in the area. In other words, you're not allowed to be free. You're not allowed to park in that park because the sign says... And if you violate the words on our sacred sign, that could end your life because we view what's on that sign as of greater value than your very life. Unfreaking believable. But we're the extremists. I had a channel owner the other day call me an extremist and actually labeled the video, quote, "Extremist frauditor defends violent cult members." Talking about me defending the violent cult members in WACO, Texas. Certain channels can't say that name. WCO, Texas. The initiation, even in the words of the FBI and the ATF and the congressional record. And I know there's complexities involved in the WACO case. I know there's a lot of people who say a lot of different things. There's a lot of opinions floating around out there, but there is a congressional record that seems to heavily indicate that the initiators of the unjust force was the ATF. So who is defending violent cult members? I would say the violators and the initiators of the violence were the ones who were the violent ones. And the ones who decided, you know what? This is important enough to stand up against. We're going to defend ourselves. They were the ones who were the victims. So these channels have everything all backwards. Extremist? Sorry, I've never been a part of a team that broke down somebody's door in the middle of the night and jeopardized the lives of the family and drug out the head of the family and flashbanged a baby or killed a dog. I'm not the one. I've never been part of an organization like that. Seems like if I was, you should call me an extremist. I don't care what you call the organization that bashed in that door, SWAT team or, the red flag initiators or, whatever you call it, or Congress, the state, the Senate, the president. I've never been a part of a team that has initiated unjust violence on peaceful people who just wanted to be left alone. But if I was, you should call me a cult member because that is cultic activity. If I signed on the dotted line to just be an order follower for an organization that literally economically terrorizes and the policing for profit schemes and the judicial courtroom proceeding profit for money and the prison industrial complex. If I was ever a part of those organizations, you should call me an extremist cult member because I would be. Look, I have my own costume. Do you like it? Look at this shiny badge. Ting. That's a cult member. Wearing it's not Halloween and I'm wearing a costume. Every day that I'm on the job, I'm wearing a costume. And I'm literally pulling people over who haven't committed a crime. They haven't harmed anybody. They don't jeopardize society. They're not stealing stuff. And I'm harassing them, then call me a cult member. Even say I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. But this person says, and I'm going to quote this person. He said that, quote, I have no clue about the context of what I'm talking about. And I gave the context. He said, quote, if someone told this person who's talking in a year or two that Brian actually had a compound and he made Kool-Aid for 1,000 lens liquors and they went off blasting, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's change the name on this, okay? If someone told me in a year or two that Sheriff Judd actually had an organization that bashed down doors, pulled people over and harassed them and made Kool-Aid for 1,000 lens liquors, and they went out blasting people in parks who were just minding their own business, I wouldn't be surprised. But they're going to call me an extremist. They're going to call me a defender of violent cult members when my channel is dedicated to calling out violent cult members who wear costumes on the job and come with the authority of the state, which is nothing more than a religious belief structure. But I'm the extremist. Okay, I just want peace. I want you to have peace. I just want to be left alone. If you want to be left alone, I want that for you too. I never want to initiate unjust force and violence on peaceful people who haven't done anything wrong. I think you're the same way. We are the opposite of extremists, but somehow it's extreme in our society to champion the cause of peace and goodwill and voluntary interaction with all men and women. That's extreme. Unfreaking believable how I know our world is upside down and inside out. Upside down, world, you turn me inside out. I know it's bad, but when you keep getting hit by a barrage, a flurry of nonsensical arguments, it hits home in a fresh new way on a completely different level. Another quote from this person who called me out as an extremist defending violent cult members. I wonder how much extremist, lunatic, maniac, shit you can say on YouTube before they actually take a look at you. It seems like the bar is quite high. So there's this call on the part of these people who are really lacking in character to have YouTube investigate my extremist views of, hey, I just want peace. Holy frickin' bug guts. At the news conference, Judd said that Lieutenant Anderson underwent emergency surgery. Release of the suspect's identity is pending. Next of kin notification. Let me just play this real quick for you.
Let me tell you what happened. It started about 12:22 this morning, Saturday morning. We've had burglaries of vehicles where people haven't locked their doors and people are flipping handles. We also recently had some burglaries at a concession stand at the Hunt Fountain Park off Duff Road in North Lakeland, which is where we are. So we had deputies assigned to the area as a hot spot. And
just pay attention to what he says and how he says it, because he's going to try to make him and his deputies and the trainees come off as looking like the protectors and servants of the people. We are just there to make sure that we secure peace in the area, this burglary hotspot.
Deputy Conover did exactly what she was supposed to be doing, checking out suspicious vehicles. The county park closes at 10 p.m. and she noticed a white vehicle here and pulled up behind it. As she approached the vehicle, she saw that there was a male in the car and he rolled the window down a small amount.
So what?
And she was trying to talk to him.
No indication that this guy is doing anything wrong yet, okay?
And asked him why he was in the park, and he wouldn't cooperate. She asked him to get out of the car, and he wouldn't get out of the car. Now understand at this point he's resisting a law enforcement officer in the performance of their duty. He's also violating a county ordinance.
He's not doing what we told him to do. If you find yourself in a position where you are part of an organization where people have to obey you just because you said they need to obey you, you are in a cult. That is the definition of it. What do you mean I have to obey you just because you said it? Because people look at it as not a cult because they see law enforcement and Congress and the president and congressmen and senators as somehow legitimate. But where did they never stopped to ask, well, where did they get their legitimacy to have power over the rest of us? How come I don't have it? And if I don't have it, and I know my neighbor doesn't have it, then how did these people end up with it? Is there some kind of magical incantation? Are these people extraterrestrial beings that are above humanity? Are they from the multiverse on a higher plane? Are they gods descended from Mount Olympus? Who are these people? Why did they have legitimate power and authority over other people? Well, it's all a construct, like ChatGPT says. I back ChatGPT in a corner. Look at my last two ChatGPT AI questions. Backed them in a corner, and they had to admit that yes, authority, the belief in authority, is tantamount to. It's the same as. It's no different from a religious belief. That's all it is. It's a construct of belief. It doesn't find any roots in reality.
She retreats to her vehicle and she asks for additional backup because he is resisting her. At that time, among other deputies, Lieutenant...
Not even Jim Jones, as bad as he was, not even Jim Jones forced people to be a part of the cult. Did he deceive a whole lot of people? Yes. Were a lot of people held so deeply under the power of his, I don't know, persuasion that they, off themselves by drinking a special drink? By the way, it wasn't Kool-Aid, it was Flavor-Aid. But I know a lot of people like to say, "Oh, I drank the Kool-Aid." Well, it wasn't actually Kool-Aid brand Kool-Aid. It was Flavor-Aid. But they believed in him so much, so wholeheartedly, that they just followed him to their death. But that's entirely different because they chose to follow him. Jim Jones didn't put the cuffs on him and throw him into the back of a cattle cart and then, having them in some kind of prison, open air prison. No, they chose to go. These people are worse than Jim Jones because they're making you go. They're forcing you to comply with their commands. They're calling for backup when you don't comply. If that ain't a cult, I don't know what is. That's the most extreme cult I know about. Oh, we're in a civilized society. Well, you couldn't prove it by the actions of the local law enforcement agencies or the state law enforcement agencies or the feds. Their actions tell me that this ain't too civilized of a society. Because we got a bunch of human beings thinking they're awfully special because they have special rights because they have uniforms, badges, and guns, and they claim to have this authority. And they're running amok, man. They're just pulling people over, harassing them, tasing them, shooting their dogs, throwing people in cages for 43 years, and they were completely innocent, and everybody knows they were innocent. Padding their pockets, milking people for overtime, lying on reports. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'd say what do you guys think? Is that a cult? Is that cult minded? Is that cultic in action and attitude? Seems to me that the biggest cult on the face of the earth is LEO, law enforcement organizations and political organizations. What's that? I'm a believer, couldn't leave her if I tried. It's all just based on belief.
Chad Anderson arrives and Deputy Sheriff Craig Smith.
When I saw his badge, Oh, I was a believer.
There are a total of 4 deputies and 2 trainees, which are going through orientation and beginning the process to be full deputies next Monday, that was working tonight. So they once again told him to get out of the vehicle. Little did they realize at that moment in time that this was a sovereign citizen. He was Moorish. And Moorish sovereign citizens are known to believe that...
Is anybody in the room Moorish? And if you are Moorish, do you actually call yourself a Savsit? Do you? Laying a moniker like that is so dishonest.
Federal law, state law, local law does not apply to them. They are known to resist law enforcement. And there is a history where they shoot police officers. So they started trying to take our suspect out of the vehicle when he produced a gun and started shooting.
Now, when you say, it sounds so sanitized. When you hear a law enforcement agent say, we just tried to take them out of the vehicle, or like that cop said to, what's his name? Brian, what's his last name? The guy who pulled Vivian out of the car. Let's see, I can't remember. Anyway, the cop, Brian something, that pulled Vivian out of the car, and then the cop turns and tells the dad after he, committed this act of violence against his daughter, oh, I assisted her out of the vehicle. They have all these euphemisms they use so that they can bend reality to make themselves look as good as they possibly can.
Lieutenant Chad Anderson was shot once in the arm, and it went through and into his chest. Our Deputy Craig Smith has 4 gunshot wounds. They went down immediately. Lieutenant Anderson...
Yeah, Brian Schimmel. Thank you, Boiled Corruption. Brian Schimmel. Shifty Schimmel said, I assisted her out of the car. Yeah, you assisted her off the car like Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant. That's how you assisted. I assisted Andre the Giant to the mat. Doesn't that sound different than I body slammed Andre the Giant to the mat? I'll tell you what I did, brother. And the crowd goes wild. I'll tell you what I did, brother. I summoned up all the courage I could from Mount Olympus, and I assisted Andre the Giant to the mat. Well, it just doesn't even sound right. Because you didn't assist him to the mat. You body slammed him. Full velocity to the mat. I assisted your daughter out of the car. What a freaking liar.
Got some rounds off. The backup deputies shot a lot, and we don't know how much yet. We're in the initial stages of crime scene investigations.
They shot a lot. Well, guess what? We could determine through audio forensics really, really quickly, getting thousands of people on this instantaneously, if you just release the video, the body cam evidence of what actually happened. Sheriff Grady.
And we can report that to you later. But we killed the suspect. We killed him graveyard dead. And we killed him dead in a gunfight, a firefight with our deputies who had no idea they were dealing with anyone other than someone being in the park after the park closed, being suspicious.
He loves this.
And resisting our efforts to identify why they were in the area.
He loves this.
Lieutenant Chad Anderson underwent emergency surgery, and he's in critical but stable condition.
So not only, think about this. These sheriffs don't mind putting their deputies at risk for a policy, for a city ordinance. So not only are they putting your life on the chopping block, they're putting their own life on the chopping block. And we know what the most important function for law enforcement agents is, because they tell us all the time, hey, I got to make it home at the end of the night. And whatever I have to do to make sure that I am safe, I'm going to do it. We hear it time after time. That cop even said that to that district attorney at the very end of the video, if you listen closely. Because at the end of the day, I got to make it home safe at night. That's all they care about. It's not about your safety and security. It's not about your property. It's not about your rights. It's about them making it home to their families at night. And if they have to destroy lives in the process to make sure that gets done, by golly, they're going to do it.
In intensive care, Craig Smith currently is stable and in the intensive care unit.
Didn't have to happen.
And we have deputies assigned to them.
Didn't have to happen.
All of this information is initial.
You know, if I was a cop that they called to the scene, that pigtail cop, if they called me to the scene, I'd be asking some questions. I'm not just going to fall in line with the thin blue line. Okay, what'd this guy do? Did he harm somebody? Did he threaten harm? Did he rob? Does he have stolen property? Did he just hold up a bank? Is this our armed robbery suspect? No, he was in the park after hours. What? He was in the park after hours, and we got to do... That's it? You called me out. You called me and these other guys out here to put our lives on the line and harass a dude who's completely at peace with everybody, it looks like. He's not guilty of any kind of crime. And you called me to the scene because a guy is out here 2 hours and 22 minutes after the park closed. He's not destroying property. He's not burning stuff down. He's not peeling out in the parking lot or doing anything that would cause any kind of disturbance here. And you called me out for this? Screw that. I could not have that job. And most of you are, put a 1 in the room. If you agree, put a 1 in the room if you agree. I could not do that job where I arrive on the scene and not know what's going on and tackle a guy or drag somebody out of their car when all they were doing was just sitting there. They weren't disturbing anything. They were violating words on a sign. Big deal. But Brian, what if 100 people, what if 100 other people decided to violate those sacred words on that sign? You mean if 100 other people were parked in parking lots just peacefully minding their own business? What's the big deal? Seriously, what is the big deal? If 50 people were out there, would they call SWAT? Would they call in the federal forces? Would Washington, D.C.'s Capitol Police have to come down off the wall in the east and come over to Florida in the south and just take care of business and start cleaning up? Would they have to employ drones, predator drones, and military grade vehicles? Because 50 people decided to meet in a park and just peacefully sit there and maybe thumb through their phones or whatever, just quietly, not disturbing anybody. What is the big frickin' deal? If you really don't want somebody driving into your park, then put up a stupid gate. Unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable how they will make a mountain out of a molehill. And that tells me that if there was ever a Red Dawn situation where things are really, really serious, the cops will not and cannot be on your side. If they're not on your side about not disturbing you when you're not doing anything wrong, if you have a concern, then sit there in the park, across the parking lot and observe and see if the guy's doing it. If you want to you can exercise the right to just be there in the park and then call for backup if you see that, this person was tucking a body in the trunk or something. But there is no indication that this guy that they eliminated, that they terminated, was doing any frickin' thing wrong. Unstinking believable.
And as you know, I released the information that we know, and it's subject to modification or change or addition later on, and that certainly will be the case now as the investigation goes on. We're not identifying the suspect at this moment because we're searching for next of kin. He appears to be living out of his vehicle. We see where another law enforcement agency had an interaction with him in another county park approximately a month ago. That's under investigation as well.
And if he had done something criminal, you better believe Grady would have told you.
We'll release information later.
This guy's got a pattern. Oh yeah, what's the deal? Just suit up. Well, no, what's the deal? No, I need you to put the Kevlar vests on, put your helmets on, your military grade equipment, bring the MRAP, put helicopters in the air, dogs on the ground. We got to get this. No, what's the deal? What is going on? I'm not doing any of that until you tell me what this guy did wrong. He's sitting in a park, man, after hours. Get the frick out of here with that. But because they're order followers, they just do what they're told. They're not the moralists that they should be, like we always talk about, doing what is right regardless of what they're told. They're doing what they're told regardless of it. They don't give a damn if it's right or not. They just want the paycheck and they want to go home safe at the end of the night, and more manpower and gunpowder. We need more people on the scene, man. This whole thing is horrible. A guy thinking he can park here for 2.5 hours after park closes. It's like that John Candy thing. Sorry, park's closed. Moose out front. Should have told you.
Today. But as a result of the gunfight, as a result of the suspect shooting...
Escape the Matrix says, serial park visitor. Get him. Unleash the hounds of hell. We got us another park sitter. Man, wouldn't you love to live in a world where the worst criminal and the worst crime committed was park sitting after hours? Peacefully park sitting. He gets up to the gates of heaven. He's like, what are you in for? What happened to you? Was it war? Were you saving the battalion? What's going on? Did a bad guy push you off? No, I was park sitting. Park sitting? St. Peter's like, God, load up the horses. We got to bring down the apocalypse. Earth's in trouble. Jeez, park sitting.
At our deputies, striking 2 of our deputies, creating critical injuries. We shot.
It's like Sylvester said, they drew first blood. You drew first blood. Yeah, it's like Rocky just wanted to walk through the town. He's like, no, we don't like the likes of you here. Get out of here. You can't eat here. You can't get gas here. You can't stop and talk to anybody here. We don't want you in our town. I'm free. This is America. I just came back from battle. My buddies died, and I'm going to exercise my freedom. Nope, just wouldn't have it. Just wouldn't have it. They drew first blood. They're the ones who provoked and prodded the bear, and now they're the ones that are the victims.
And killed him. He chose that outcome, and we obliged him. I want to turn this over, and then we'll answer questions after.
Oh God, I'm sure no good questions are going to be asked, and no good answers are going to be given. So here's our feature event. This comes from the YouTube channel called Ripple Effect. This is from Ripple Effect Media. Now, how I got my hands on this, or actually my eyes, how I got my eyes on this was through David from San Joaquin Valley Transparency. This is a video that he just recently highlighted. Hats off, tip of the hat to David. He does great work over there. If you're not subscribed to San Joaquin Valley Transparency, you really need to take a look at his stuff. He's got a whole lot of good stuff. I will leave the link in the description and in the pinned comment when this video gets done rendering. But I want to show you how this guy is just honest and tells this cop how he feels about police officers. Listen to this. This is classic.
Hey, Mr. Alvarez.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Hey, can you step out really quick and talk to me back here?
Yeah.
Mr. Alvarez, who's your passenger? Is he shy? Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Oof.
What's up?
What's up? I was just.
She seems like such a cheerful person. It's like, get out of the thin blue line, girl.
Wondering, can I have you remove your sunglasses so I know who I'm talking to?
I'm not going to. I don't even want to talk. I hate the police.
Oh, man, not like that.
I hate you guys. Like,
But you
if
have
I
a-
do,
is
and
that-
I don't
isn't
have
that
my
like a cop
trifold.
car? Isn't that like a cop car?
I don't answer questions. It's a mockery of the police. I hate you fucking guys so much. Like when I pray that you guys get over here, Rosie. I pray that you guys' car explodes.
Why is that?
Because you guys are all evil and bad.
She is not used to, there's a lot of people that feel like that in the depths of their heart, but they would never, ever verbalize it, especially not like that. And, maybe they would do it, if worst came to worst and they were backed into a corner and the cop was being belligerent. But nobody would do that to a cop who seems to be acting nice. By the way, you never want to trust smiling tyranny, because smiling tyranny is still tyranny. You never want to trust pretty tyranny, because pretty tyranny is still tyranny. So while a lot of people feel like this, they would never verbalize it. And if they ever did verbalize it, it would be, the situation would almost seem to warrant it. But can you imagine if everybody was honest with all police officers, no matter how they acted? Because this is how we feel about the Gestapo. Ain't nothing good about you guys. I can't stand you. When I pray for you, I'm actually praying against you.
Why do you think that?
Well, if there was a good one, there would be no bad ones. And there's shit ton of bad ones. So, yeah.
Well, I don't think I'm a
So what's
bad
up, though? You're cute. I mean,
I
I would
thank
bang
you.
you, but I would never fucking anything other than that.
What if we,
Did you hear what he just said? He said, you're cute, I'd bang you, but listen to this again. It happened so fast, I didn't even expect it the first time I watched it.
Ton of bad ones. So, yeah.
well, I don't think I'm a
So
bad
what's
one.
up, though? You're cute. I mean,
I
I would
thank
bang
you.
you, but
I
I would
mean,
never fucking anything
Well,
other than that.
What if we do it along the lines that, like, I'm going to be respectful to you, okay?
Yeah, I'm not respectful to cops. It'd be best
That's
if you just
fine.
stop
That's fine.
talking
If you
to
want
me.
to look at me as an officer,
Yeah,
I
I
fully
do.
understand
If you
that.
take off that costume, that clown costume, then I'll talk to you.
Well, if you took off your sunglasses, it'd probably be easier
Well,
to speak
what's up
with
though?
you.
What do you want?
I was just seeing who you
Oh,
are and
I don't want
everything
you
like
to know
that.
who I am. I'm incognito.
And you have that right. It's not a
I
big
know my
deal. Why
rights.
are you an incognito?
Because I might have warrants.
Something I appreciate about this guy, number one, the honesty. The honesty in the face of tyranny. You have to admit, if you're being honest, when a cop pulls you over, your life hangs by this tiniest, the most microscopic spider's web. Your life hangs in the balance anytime you get into an encounter with a law enforcement agent, a power tripping law enforcement agent who thinks that they have authority over you because they got a special uniform and a badge on. So you gotta appreciate that, because it does take balls. No matter whether she looks harmless or not, she ain't. She's got a gun. And she's been trained to use it. And she's been trained in the thin blue line to see you and I as the enemy, whether they say they're there to protect and serve or not. That's just the reality. I mean, did everybody get a load of the street cop training video that was released a month or two ago? Remember what they said? They don't care about you. They don't care about speeding, breaking the speed limit, putting other lives at risk. They're going to get you, and they're involved in a policing for profit scheme where they're going to economically terrorize you. And if they got to hurt you in the process, ain't no skin off their nose. As long as they get their paycheck and go home safe at the end of the night, they don't care about you. How many instances, how many videos do we have to see where they demonstrate, they don't even have to say it, they demonstrate they don't care about us. They have great disdain for us, great disrespect. Sit on that curb like you're a dog. Put your hands behind your back. Walk backwards slowly. Or in the Daniel Shaver, don't you put your hands up if you do. This is the last day of your life, says Philip Brailsford to a shaking, trembling, fearful, innocent Daniel Shaver. All I got to do is think about what Austin Hopp and Daria Jalali did to 72-year-old dementia patient Karen Garner to know that they don't care about you. And it wasn't just what they did to her on the field. That was bad enough. And then they throw her into a cage and then mock her outside of her cell as they review the body cam footage of them abusing an old lady who trusted them to keep her safe. $3 million settlement for the Loveland, Colorado Police Department, by the way, eventually. And there were 3 cops involved in that, at least 3. There was the entire department, because they ended up covering it up and not releasing that body cam footage right away. But there are 3 cops involved in that. It just wasn't just Austin Hopp and Daria Jalali, who both went to jail, by the way, and rightly so, but they didn't get the sentences that you and I would have gotten if we did that to a 72-year-old dementia patient. And then there was Sergeant Sergeant Metzger. They all had a hand in terrorizing that poor woman. So don't give me this, come on, Brian, will you have a little compassion and understanding? No, they're all a part of that group that does that very thing. And if we were to list names of the innocent people whose lives have been tragically destroyed, families just completely dissolved because the head of the house was sent to prison for years for having done nothing, or simple possession, or escalating a traffic stop to the point where you eliminate somebody's life. It happens every single day. So against that backdrop, I can see why people applaud what Ripple Effect Media is saying to this Leo, this road pirate.
What if I have a bunch of warrants?
Then you have warrants.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
What
what's
if
the issue
when
with
you
that?
looked on the thing it said armed and dangerous? I don't want you to run my name.
Is that the case?
It might be.
Okay, and we can talk that out. It's not a big
No, we're
deal.
not
Yeah,
talking.
we can talk that out. That's employing euphemisms like, oh, wow, now you got me. The concern category has just become high. It's red alert. It's red alert right now. Wait a minute. You could have warrants and you could be armed and dangerous. Well, we can talk that out.
Shit out. I'm not talking. I'm not saying nothing.
And that's fine.
All right.
It's fine.
Holler at you then. I don't know why he rolled down the window.
Or do you work in the area?
I'm not gonna answer any questions. Do you work in the area?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a deputy over here.
Oh, a deputy.
Yeah.
You mean a clown?
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is this your coworker?
That's just some hitchhiker I picked up. Why? What's up?
Oh,
Does he have a
it's your
warrant or
vehicle?
something?
No. No. I'm
Okay.
just.
Then why'd you pull him out?
Bruce and I just like to make conversation.
Bruce Almighty.
I mean, if you
You know, I
want to.
shared the
He's a nice
same
guy.
birthday as Sean Reyes.
Yeah.
You know that?
Go ahead.
Do you realize that? I'm just saying, I do.
I'm just.
I thought that
listening.
was pretty cool.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's all right.
That was pretty random. I don't know why you threw that in there.
But if I had my trifold with me, then I could talk to you because I'd know what to say because I don't really have a brain of my own. But I don't have my trifold with me.
I don't know what a trifle is.
You don't?
I don't. I'm being honest with you. I don't
Come on. That is just frickin' funny. That is frickin' funny.
know what that
You don't know what an indestructible trifold is.
What is that?
You're behind times.
I guess. I mean, if you
Google
give me the
Google what
knowledge,
an indestructible trifold is.
what is, like, what does it do?
What does it do? It tells you how to talk to cops. See me, I'm just like fuck you, you horrible bitch. I'm like that to cops. And guy, girl, it doesn't matter. But you notice I would yeah, she hates cops too. We both hate cops. Bad. Yeah.
Okay.
So why do you
The dog is sitting there just cutting its eyes over at her and just growling. I'm with my master, man. We don't like thin blue line pigs.
have him out of the car for speeding?
That's just how Bruce does it. He just gets them.
Oh
all.
fuck!
That's,
Tell Bruce I said fuck him.
You can tell him.
Fuck you, Bruce.
So,
What's your name again?
Deputy Kelsey Bramer. You can just call me Kelsey.
It's so funny how they have to look on their uniforms to find out what their name was. Oh, my mom pinned it right here. Hold on. Deputy Kelsey Bremer. That's right there. Hilarious. Yeah, Adam says, good dog. Good dog. Good job, Ruby.
See, damn, I hate that you're a cop. Man, cuz you're so pretty.
I do it for my kids.
Get a different job. No,
I do it for my kids.
You could strip and make more money than
No,
fucking.
I'm not going to do that.
Why?
I respect myself too much.
I respect myself. I haven't watched this far into the video. I respect myself too much to strip, but I don't respect myself too much to have me and my partner strip you out of the car against your will and without your consent.
I know what you're going to say because I'm a clown and shit like that.
Yeah, it's a clown. There's no good cops. They're all bad. How many times have you saw lying ass, bitch ass cops lying
I haven't
making
lied.
false statement. That's a lie.
You
Because
can say that.
You know
can
how many
say
I've
that.
had
Yeah,
on
I
the.
know
You know
I'm
how many
honest,
I've had on the
good-working
stand and caught. Man, it's easy to catch you guys in lies because I don't know. It just is.
Oh my gosh, he is totally putting her on the spot. What's up, Chuck Bronson? What's up, News Now Ninja?
But yeah.
I mean, you can say that if you want. So, but it was nice meeting you. I didn't catch your name. I know you're not going to give it to me.
No,
That's not even true. I don't even believe that. It was nice meeting you. You just cussed me out. You told me my profession is crap. You told me that I'm not a good person and nobody I work with is a good person. It was nice meeting you. Huh? Really? Isn't this like our world is built on empty, hollow platitudes of trying to make somebody feel good and try to present yourself as something you're not? That's what I like about this guy. He's raw. This is how I feel. If you don't like it, later dates, biatch.
I'll give you my first name.
You can give me your first name.
It's Brad.
What?
Yeah, but you'll know anyways.
Any profession is more respectable than being a road tyrant, a road pirate.
Because I have a rather large YouTube channel, so you'll be on YouTube.
Okay,
I got 2 cameras going.
well, hey, you
I don't
too.
know if you notice it. Yeah,
I mean, I caught it, but
they'll
I'm
love
not
your
too
attitude
concerned
and they'll
about it.
hate mine, but they all understand that cops are pieces of shit. And I'm sorry that it's that way. It just is.
I'm sorry.
Did you
that
see all? Have you
feel
watched
that
all the
way.
videos of people getting shot and killed by you guys lately, unarmed?
I haven't. Oh, it was nice meeting you.
Yeah, you gotta
I'm
go?
done. Yeah, I gotta
Okay.
go. I'm sorry. I'll get out of
Kelsey,
here.
if I ever see you out of that clown outfit, I might ask you out. You
Maybe
ain't-
if you never call me a bitch.
I
or
would
anything
never
like
call you a
that,
bitch.
that'd be
I'm
cool.
hey,
Never tell
you
me I
you
can
know
be a
you might not
stripper.
believe this, but I'm the kindest, most loving person in the world. But I hate police.
I am also.
Yeah, I can tell.
So
Good
have a
attitude.
Good night, okay?
You as well. Thank you.
I would love to get her body cam footage and see how kind and nice she actually is. And I put that in quotes, kind and nice. So this is from Ripple Effect Media. He was just gut honest. Like, this is acidic honesty. This is like even basic honesty of a pH of 14. Acidic honesty with the acid content of the pH level of 1. It's a 1 or a 14. It's just extreme honesty. And I love it. I love it. I love that kind of honesty, because an American law enforcement agent of the state walking up to your vehicle is no different in practice, in action, than a Gestapo member from the 1930s walking up with a swastika band around his arm. No different in action. No different in practice. You can put all the fluffy, kind, nice, protect and serve words behind it that you want. You can use all the friendly, PG-13 euphemisms you want to employ, but we know what the truth is, because cameras don't lie and cops do. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments section below. Oh, before we go, let me give some shout outs too. I saw a super chat, and of course, Angry Vet has been busy. He looks like there's 2 separate 50 channel memberships that were given by the Angry Vet. Yeah, total of 100. The Angry Vet bought a total of 100 Here's the Deal memberships to people in the room. I hope you picked one up. I really appreciate it. Chuck Bronson says they all fake for the camera. Yep, they sure do. And the thin blue line blood runs so rich and deep to the core of their being that a lot of times they can't help but show what they are on camera. It's like, most people would be ashamed of that or that or that. The cops can't even show shame. That's how far gone they are. Nathan, let's see. Nathan became a new member. Thank you, Nathan. Hiram Bifidum says, what I think of police officers is extremely vulgar, profane, and disgusting. It's your channel, Brian. You don't deserve to have to hear it. Well, I appreciate it. Everybody, shout out for the Angry Vet for dropping all those memberships. Hey, Angry Vet, I really appreciate it, man. Visit Angry Vet's channel. Give him a watch. Binge watch some of his videos. Give him a sub. Holy cow. Larry Angulo just dropped a, what is that? A $50 chat? Jeez. $50 super chat from Larry. Holy cow. Thank you. Thank you, Larry. Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Put a 1 in the room if you want me to open up the show to call-ins. Because I saw some detractors. Oh, we got some detractors over there. I saw some detractors in the chat room. And, you know, I'm more than willing to field some detraction. Tom drops a super chat, says, love yours and Civil Rights Lawyer channel. Hey, thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. Hey, you know what? I was talking to a couple content creators, and they were telling me, why did the chat stop? Let's see. What just happened? Oh, there it goes again. I was talking to some content creators, and they were telling me that their views have dramatically dropped over the last, I think it's the last month. I was looking. I don't know if you guys know about this site right here. This site it's called Social Blade. And if you want to see like statistics of YouTubers or people who are on Instagram or Twitch or Facebook or wherever, Twitter, TikTok, you can just put if you know what their screen name is, their official screen name, because, you know, they could have a name up front, but they have a different name in the back. And what you could do is, here, I'll show you. Like if you wanted to go to, let's just do James Freeman. That's the first James. Oh, let's do James. If you go to James Freeman's channel and you just click on his main channel, and I don't know if you can see it up on the top in the URL. Let's see if I can go to it. Yeah, in the URL, it says youtube.com/@JamesFreeman1. Well, that's, so his channel is @JamesFreeman1. So if you wanted to check out his channel, you can go to this, you can copy it, you can paste it, press enter, and then you can see, oh, James is actually James is the opposite of what most people are. So he's gone from 1.3 million views to last month he's got 5.7 million views, and now they've kind of cut him down 1 million from last month to 4.7 million views. And if you look at bigger channels like, let's see, We the People University. Did you see that Big West thing come up? We the People University, you can tell, like, this is the kind of graph that you see. This is the kind of trend that you see is, you know, 12.1 million views to 8.3 to 4.8. So it went from 12 to 4 to 4. And now he's coming up a little bit, but views are really, really down in the last, or let's see, what's another big channel, Lackluster. Yeah, like look at this. This is just, this right here is algorithmic shadow banning suppression. Look at that. And if I am not mistaken, Dale from Lackluster is putting out just as much content as he used to put out. So you got, look, 83 million views in 1 month, and now it's down to 9.5, and last month was 14, and this month it's down to, it's back up for this month, 29 million, so that's good. The problem with some of these numbers is it includes shorts, which doesn't, I don't think shorts are a net positive for any channel. Oh, look up Long Island Audit. Let's see. I think his has gone up because Long Island Audit. Yeah, because he's been doing a lot of going out there and recording stuff. Whereas I think he chilled out for a little while, so it went from 6.7. He had his biggest month in February of 31 million views and gained 41,000 subscribers. So that's good. Good on him. Yep, Sean's doing good over there. So what's the verdict? Do you guys want to do a call in? Was there any ones in the room? Let's see. What should we do? Should we close this out? It's an hour and 9 minutes. Most people don't watch really long. People have a very short attention span. Why don't I just start a new? Yeah, why don't I just start a new one? What does direct D's look like? Let us see. Direct D. It looks like his is pretty even. It looks like it's suppressed on the subscriber side. Robert says, "Hey everyone, match my 5, help a guy out." Thanks, Robert. I appreciate that. If you guys want to subscribe or help this channel monetarily, one of the best ways you can do it is like Cash App or I don't have PayPal anymore. Cash App's probably the best way to do it. PayPal terminated my account, so yes, do a call in. Okay, let me start a new stream then. Let's make this a self-contained stream, and we'll start a new stream in like 10 minutes, and it'll just be a dedicated call-in show. Let's talk about stuff that really matters. All right, I will see you. I'll set it up, and we should go live, and no later than 4:20. It's 4:11 right now Central Standard Time, so we'll do it at 4:20. And the number will be, man, I hope this number works, because I have a Google number, but I'm gonna have to look at what it is. I put it out before, and I don't think it's been deactivated. Maybe I hope it's not deactivated. Let me see. Let me go to voice. Let's test it right now. Somebody call me at, what's the number? How do I find it? Settings. All right. Somebody try to call me at 918-410-9174. I used to have it. 918-410-9174. If you want to call in. 918. I hope it works. If it doesn't work, then I'm not going to start the live stream. I don't know why it wouldn't, because it's not on airplane mode or anything. Devices and numbers. 2 device. Oh, look at that. So we got a call. Oh, can I do this? Oh, shoot. Hold and accept. Can you?
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
1. Steve, is that you? Can you hear me?
Nope.
Hey. Oh, yeah. Hold on one second. I got to figure out how to put this on speakerphone. Let's see. Mute. Sound. All right, try it now.
Hey,
right.
Brian.
All right, cool. All right, it works. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a live stream. Thanks for helping me check that out.
No problem, Brian. This is Les. We'll talk later, hopefully. Thank you.
All right, Les, take care. Bye. All right, so that'll be the number, 918, what is it, 410-9174. That'll be the number. We'll do a call in at 4:20. It's 4:14 right now. I'm going to try to set this up as quickly as possible. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I appreciate you guys. Remember, the price of freedom is now and will always be what? Eternal vigilance. Fight for it like your life